Are you in the process of taking finals? The Lord has told many of you that you're moving to the next level. But since then, nothing seems like it's changed and nothing has manifested. It's probably because you're taking finals. The Lord had given me a vision, and I saw a large group of people walking in to take their finals. The Lord was there, and He was the one giving the exam. What He's trying to do is see what you have learned, what you've retained, how much you've grown, and what you have understood in this last season. The Lord is looking to see where you currently are. So a couple of years ago, I gave a testimony on my old channel, so I won't go too far into it, but my husband and I were living with my family, and it was a really difficult situation. Somebody was always starting something, plotting something, or lying about something, and every single day there was something going on. And so some days I was up, some days I was down. I was arguing with them a lot. And one day I was sitting in the room, and the Lord had told me to go out to the living room. And so I walked out there, and I walked into a conversation where they were again lying about me and my husband. And so I just walked outside and I started talking to the Lord. And I said, "Come on, Lord, you have to let me say something because you know that's not right." And immediately He said, "No, I told you, don't allow what they do and say to get into your heart." And so I stood there for a while, and I thought about what they were just saying, and I also thought about what the Lord had just said to me. And I decided not to say anything. And so I walked back into the house. I didn't say anything to anybody. I just went back into the room. And as I sat down, I started to consider what has been happening that whole time. And what I saw was that if I was to go out there and argue with them, that I was going to open up a door to the enemy. And he was going to come in and he was going to attack my husband, and then he was going to move on to attack my children. And so I drew a line in the sand that day, and I said, that's it. Not one more second, not one more minute, not one more day am I going to allow the enemy to use my family to come against me. And so after that, the attacks increased, and I was able to respond to that situation in a completely different way. Nothing they did, nothing they said or tried to do to me affected me at all. And so what I realized after that was that I was being tested. Now the Lord wanted to see, was I going to do what He said? And after this, maybe a week or two later, the enemy started to try and lie to me by telling me that we weren't going to leave, that we were stuck there and God wasn't going to help us. And so I immediately rebuked the devil and turned my attention to God. And I started to thank Him. I started to say, "Father, I thank you that me and my husband are blessed. I thank you that you have a home for us. I thank you that everything has changed." I just began to speak back to God what He had previously spoken to me. And within 2 weeks, my husband and I ended up moving. So what am I saying to you? That was my final exam, and I passed it because I chose to do what God told me to do, and I chose to stand on His word. I didn't allow anything or anybody to get in the way of where I was going. And so if you know that God has spoken to you and told you you're moving to the next level, whether you're getting a new place, whether you are opening a business, maybe you are doing clothing business, maybe it's your ministry, whatever the Lord has spoken to you, you cannot allow anybody to get in the way. These tests are necessary, and God uses them to see how much you've grown, if you're going to listen to Him, what your responses are going to be. It's just different things that are necessary, because to whom much is given, much is required. So don't be discouraged or disappointed or think that you heard God wrong. The tests come to prove that God has spoken to you. So be strong in this time. It's only for a limited time until you pass your final. So until next time.